get onto the Proteus.
They find the message from
Lenny James.
From Lenny James.
He's like, I still owe him that beer.
For years. And of course, the main function of this sequence is to introduce the most important character in the movie, who we have already referenced, who is Blarp.
Blarp.
And I mostly chose this movie so that I could have a chance to say Blarp a lot.
Blarp.
Okay.
I don't know what... we should say attached to the Proteus is an alien ship, which we don't know.
Is full of Spideys.
Is that where the spiders came from? One assumes. It's either where the spiders came from or where Blarp came from.
Right.
Or both.
Sure.
Blarp's a spider. I don't know.
Give birth to Blarp.
So we meet Blarp, and Blarp fucking sucks.
Blarp's a big asshole. He's a space monkey.
He's an asshole.
He looks like Crash Bandicoot with big eyes.
Right.
Like,
he's made out of clouds. Like it's the least substantive CGI creature in a live action
This is
film.
like you were saying. This is in the CGI period where they were like they had this new technology, and we were like, yeah, we can make a whole character with CGI, but they could not. Yeah,
they shot the movie. They shot the movie with a fucking puppet.
Oh, they did?
And there's one scene when it's like Judy and Penny like checking out Blarp on the medical table where you're seeing all over Blarp's shoulder, and it's a physical Blarp. Like the back of his head, his arms are physical, Blarp. And it looks pretty good. Anytime Blarp is in a scene, he looks like he's made out of like a fucking like sticker. Like he looks like a shiny hologram sticker.
He looks like a screensaver.
Yes, he does.
He does.
Yes.
He looks like clip art. And he also doesn't make any sense because they just find Blarp. On this ship. He's like hiding in the hydroponics
bay. He changes
bay.
colors. He's in the hydroponics.
He like changes colors like one time.
Right.
He's not even good at that.
Yep.
Everything else on this ship is dead
and
people.
He burps.
He
He does burp.
Which is why they call him Blarp.
Blarp. He says it like that. And but there's also spiders.
The spiders.
CGI spiders who look about as good as Blarp.
Can I say something about Blarp?
Let's just do an hour on Blarp. Blarp talk.
I have talked about how prolific a doodler I am, how I like to doodle a lot in high school, especially when I was a bad student. I would just like work on very complicated, like weeks-long doodles. I spent a week in high school making a poster for my dream movie, which was Alien versus Predator versus Freddy versus Jason versus Terminator versus RoboCop versus Teen Wolf versus Back to the Future.
I hate you.
Versus that thing from Lost in Space. I put Blarp in there.
Sure. He's in the pantheon.
And my poster was the Predator ripping Blarp in half.
Well,
it was everyone else like around him, but Blarp was just being ripped in half by a predator.
Blarp doesn't seem to have a lot of defenses outside of changing colors.
I hadn't watched Lost in Space in years at that point. I liked it when I was a child, but I still remembered hating Blarp. Like, Blarp is such a shoehorned in, like, we need like a cute thing that the kids like, right?
Well,
but then
we discovered this morning part of the reason, the idea of Blarp, when we discovered those deleted scenes, which now it suddenly makes a lot more sense. But we'll get to that. But at least the way it plays out in the movie, because they cut all of that, is that Blarp is just Penny's friend, basically, because Penny has no friend. Because as we've already covered, all the characters ignore her.
Now
they do.
And so she gets Blarp, and then that's pretty much it for Blarp.
One could say she gets Blarped.
She gets Blarped pretty hard. They Blarp her real bad. But there's like a 12-minute deleted scenes reel, which is all pretty much this one subplot. Yeah. And the one piece, the beginning of this deleted scenes reel is the extended version of this scene where they go, well, where did he come from? There must be more from his species.
Sure.
Okay, so that's their little tease.
Okay, so you're saying there's a bunch of deleted scenes. I didn't watch them. Did you guys like watch them on YouTube or something?
They're on YouTube. In the sequence, apparently it's supposed to be intercut with the whole, darkest timeline sequence.
Yeah. It is the darkest timeline. That's exactly what that whole sequence is.
Yeah.
Was going to be the ladies who, as it ended up, or just disappear from the movie for that whole part, go out into the woods because Blarp runs out and they run out after Blarp.
Yeah.
And they find a larger creature
in a cave
who is also friendly like Blarp.
Big Blarp. A huge
future Blarp.
Fucking Blarp who turns out to be future Blarp.
They realize it's future Blarp.
I love this. Why isn't this in the movie?
Humongous. It's practical. It's a big
puppet.
Rubber Blarp sitting in a cave. It looks horrifying. And they're like, is this Blarp's mom? Is it Blarp's dad? And they realize it is Blarp himself from the darkest timeline. It's a fat Blarp who ate too much and John Goodman himself into a cave.
Oh, I'm seeing...
Because he
doesn't look anything like Blarp.
Well,
he looks like a D&D character.
But it's because he's a puppet, and they ended up doing Blarp as CGI, which is one of the reasons why they had to cut all this.
Do you know how I started searching for this deleted scene reel.
How?
No, how?
I went back and watched the trailer because I was like, I remember being really pumped from the trailer, and the trailer has a shot of Judy touching Big Blarp, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Huge creature
And
that
was
is not
like,
in the movie.
Right, I just Googled Blarp deleted scenes.
Are there other deleted
And
scenes?
so the one more very important one is that
Well, they keep on cutting back to the cave. It would have been intercut with the Darkest Timeline stuff. With when the boys are being boys, the girls would have been blarping, right? Because as it
we from now on need to refer to on this podcast female characters having nothing to do with getting blarp.
Yes. No, because there is a section of this movie where the three female characters do nothing for 40 minutes and just disappear until the end.
they're just sitting on the ship waiting.
Right,
Apparently.
and in the Darkest Timeline, they are dead. We see their graves.
Right, but really what they were doing was bonding with Big Blarp, right? And at the end of the movie, when the movie ends really abruptly out of nowhere, we're just let's keep traveling, and then it just cuts to credits.
Yeah.
Penny was supposed to go. They were supposed to go what's that noise? And then Penny's supposed to be now don't freak out. And the doors rise up, and Big Blarp comes in, and they take their guns on. They're ready to shoot it, and they're like, "It's Blarp. It's Blarp from the future." And then they all laugh and go "Oh, Blarp." And it's now they're all going to be on this ship with Big Blarp. That was supposed to be the ending of the movie, was Big Blarp.
That's the stupidest shit I ever heard in my life.
I like it.
Ben's on board.
I like it too.
That would bump it up to 3 stars.
I mean, look, David, I'll say, you had to be there.
I'm going to watch these scenes.
You had to be there.
But